So if you're not content with merely having a miniature supercomputer stashed inside of your bag or pants, well, why not strap a couple to your wrists as well? Despite the usual gloomy predictions about smartwatches and wearables dying out in 2020, absolutely tons of the buggers have launched this year, with big manufacturers like Apple, Huawei and Samsung all vying for that coveted spot on your arm. And I've personally been really fortunate enough to check out a lot of the biggest smartwatches launched in 2020, and here's a roundup of my own personal favourites to cover a range of budgets. And for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers. Now, one of my favourite premium wrist rockets of 2020 is Samsung's Galaxy Watch 3. And this brings together the best elements of the original Galaxy Watch and the Galaxy Watch Active 2 into a single lovable wearable. You got a choice of 41 or 45mm sizes, and both look proper gorgeous, with dual buttons and full water resistance. That slick rotated bezel is ideal for gliding through Tizen OS menus and the many apps, which are as colourful and well designed as always. You got quite a lot packed on there to begin with, including some serious fitness tracking smarts. Like all premium smartwatches, the Galaxy Watch 3 can monitor your heart rate and your blood oxygen levels and loads of other stats. Now, pretty much every other feature you can think of is also crammed in there, from eSIM support to a mic and speaker for taking calls or also chatting with the Bixby Assistant. And you can download loads more apps from Samsung's online store as well, activity tracking or otherwise. Unfortunately though, the Galaxy Watch 3 also starts from around 400 quid here in the UK, making it one of the most wallet draining options in this roundup. Sorry, I probably should have led with that bit, shouldn't I, before I got you all hot and bothered. And of course, one of the biggest rivals to Samsung's smartwatch is the Apple Watch Series 6, which launched at almost the same time. And if you want this square slab sat on your arm, you'll definitely once again need pretty deep pockets. So the Apple Watch Series 6 starts from an eye-watering 380 quid, and that's just for the bog standard aluminium version. If you want the more premium materials like the stainless steel, that price sharply rises. And if you want to go for the Billy Big Bollocks titanium model, well, that's basically double the price. However, speaking as someone who dislikes almost every device that Apple unleashes on the world these days, I'm definitely still a fan of this slick little wearable. Sure, it's not really evolved much at all over the years, and some rivals are fast catching up, but that watchOS experience is still smooth and seriously satisfying, using a combination of responsive touchscreen and swizzly dial thing to zip through the menus and apps. You got full Siri smarts via the speaker and mic, all of the usual fitness tracking shenanigans, and the benefit of an always-on altimeter and the new ECG app, which along with the blood oxygen monitoring can help to possibly diagnose any issues with the old ticker. And you got dozens of watch faces to choose from, and finally a proper always-on display now as well. And like the Galaxy Watch 3, you've also got built-in NFC, which can be used for contactless payments, really good in these COVID-y days. Plus, if you want to expand the Apple Watch's horizons, you can download a large range of new apps from the well-stocked online store. In fact, to be fair, pretty much the only bad thing about the Apple Watch beyond the extortionate cost is the typically battery life. You'll basically be charging it every single night, that is, unless you don't mind having a really expensive paperweight strapped to your arm the following day. And if you really fancy yourself an Apple Watch but you can't stretch that near £400 asking price for the aluminium model, well, there's always the iPhone Watch SE, which launched at the same time as the Series 6. It offers a lot of the same features, although some of the new stuff like the always-on display and that ECG monitoring have been stripped out. But here in the UK it does cost just £269, just £269, so it is a lot more affordable. And I've got to throw in a quick shout out for the Oppo Watch here as well, which is basically a shameless Wear OS ripoff of the Apple Watch. The styling is very similar indeed, but of course you get Google's OS instead. Like the Apple Watch, it ain't cheap at around 300 quid, and it is a wee bit quirky at times as well, not too surprising for a first gen effort. But check out my review if you're intrigued. Speaking of Wear OS, another premium smartwatch that I really enjoyed using in 2020 was the TicWatch Pro 3, quite often known as the TicWatch Pro 3 GPS for some random reason. And this once again sports a lot of great premium features, but also has one massive advantage over the Galaxy Watch 3 and the Apple Watch, and that is its superior battery life. That funky dual display design means that quick time checks can be done just using the lower powered LCD, while the bright, crisp and colourful OLED panel is used for checking notifications and playing with apps. The result is 3 to 4 days of full use per charge rather than just 1 or 2 like most other smartwatches. And as you'd kind of hope with that Pro word shoved into the title of this thing, the TicWatch Pro 3 does sport some very premium features just like the Galaxy Watch and the Apple Watch. Got all the usual stuff like built-in GPS, 24-hour heart rate monitoring, fluttering, blood oxygen smarts, and you got the built-in mic and speaker to take calls via your phone as well as interact with the Google Assistant. You can also download a growing selection of apps from the Google Play Store to expand the functionality. And performance is nice and smooth after the most recent updates, thanks largely to the fresh Snapdragon Wear 4100 chipset that's packed inside. Now the TicWatch Pro 3 might not be quite as sexy as some rivals, sure, but that stainless steel bezel and the leather band gives it a smart finish, and this bad boy costs under 300 quid here in Blighty. Now half a week of battery life for a Wear OS smartwatch is definitely very commendable indeed, but if you're still deeply unimpressed, then maybe try checking out the Huawei Watch GT2 Pro instead. This gorgeous 46mm timepiece boasts a super tough but impressively lightweight titanium finish, and like other Huawei watches it delivers up to 2 full weeks of use on a single charge. And even if you turn on all of the features including the always on display, you will comfortably make it through a week. Good news for fitness fans as well, as this Pro model adds skiing, snowboarding and golfing to the ever-expanding list of supported exercises. And if for whatever crazy horrendous reason you find yourself lost in the woods with zero signal, no worries, the handy route retracing feature will help get you back to civilization in a jiffy before you end up adopted by a family of friendly wolves. However, the Huawei Watch GT2 Pro does not offer a built-in assistant or an online app store, so you can't expand the features by downloading new software. And if you live in America, of course, you'll probably have to hunt around a bit for an import. But those issues aside, this super premium watch is definitely worthy of that £300 price tag. And if your fancy has been well and truly tickled by that Huawei Watch GT2 Pro, but you don't have 300 quid to play around with, no worries, maybe try checking out the standard Huawei Watch GT2 instead, which at the time I shot this video cost just 170 quid. And sure, you don't get the same super premium titanium and ceramic design, while you also lose a couple of the cool features like the Qi wireless charging, but the rest of the watch is almost identical and just as lovable. I have also fully reviewed the Huawei Watch GT2, the standard model, and I've done a full side-by-side comparison with that and the Pro in my full Huawei Watch GT2 Pro unboxing, so go check that out if you want a side-by-side and an idea of how they stack up. Also, definitely do not sleep on the Huawei Watch GT2e, which is an absolute wee bargain. It's cheaper again than the Huawei Watch GT2 and it serves up very similar specs and features, but with a more sporty aesthetic. Done a full review again of that, so have a full squint at that for all you need to know. And another option is the Honor Watch GS Pro, which is very similar again to the Huawei Watch GT2 Pro, but with a more rugged design and a wee bit shaved off that price. You get the same crazy good battery life, all of those fitness features including the skiing and golf shenanigans, and this time it's all wrapped up in a proper hardcore knock resistant casing that is military standard 810G rated. And if you're into all of your outdoor enthusiastic fitness stuff, then definitely go check out a channel called The Run Testers. It's run by a dedicated group of tech journalists who are really into that fitness side of things. So they test out the latest Garmin smartwatches and all that stuff that's really dedicated, really focused on the fitness tracking. Whereas I'm definitely more of a streaming Netflix and eating Scotch eggs kind of guy. So that right there is my roundup of my favorite smartwatches that I've personally tested out and reviewed in 2020. But before I go, I do also have to mention what could possibly be the best budget smartwatch of 2020. It's coming soon and it's called the Xiaomi Mi Watch. It will cost just £99 when it lands in Blighty. And despite that low asking price, it offers many of the same benefits of a lot of these premium watches, including 2 weeks of battery life, fitness tracking for over 100 types of exercise, 24-hour heart rate tracking, built-in GPS, and a water-resistant design. And you've even got Amazon Alexa support thrown in there, which is a great little bonus. And I'll hopefully bring you a full review of that bad boy really soon. So those are my favourites, but what are your own personal picks, the best smartwatches of 2020? If I've missed out your own personal favourite, definitely call me a numpty down below and clue me in. And for more on the latest greatest tech, please do subscribe, ding that notifications bell, and have yourselves a lovely weekend. Cheers everyone, love you.